Megan. It's been such a long time since we last talked. Well, today I have something I'd like to ask you. Do you think you can call me?
Huh? Anita? It's been so long. I think the last time we saw one another was at that high school reunion a while back. Anyways, as for calling you, I'm on the road right now and can't call you to talk right now, but we can text one another still. Does that work for you?
Well, I guess it'll have to do. It was maybe a year ago we had that high school reunion, right? Why didn't you tell me about everything clearly back then?
Tell you everything clearly? What are you talking about?
Don't play dumb with me. At that time you were trying to play things off around me.
I'm sorry, Anita, but I'm not seeing where this is supposed to be going.
I'm talking about when we had that after party after the reunion. I got a message from your boyfriend. And he was talking about how he had plans for you and him to go to a restaurant for your birthday and that he had already reserved you guys' seats. You know about that, right?
Now that you mention it, he did take me out for my birthday. And what about that?
That dinner was when he proposed to you and everything, right?
Well, yeah, he did end up proposing to me on my birthday at the dinner. But why do you know all about that?
Well, I wanted to hear it from you that you're going to be marrying him. I heard about this already, but need to confirm.
How did you hear about all of that when I haven't even sent out the invitations yet or anything about us getting married?
Can you stop acting like I don't have my ways? Don't tell me that back then when he was talking about the birthday plans he had for you that he was bragging about proposing to you on that day. I bet that he was doing that because you asked him to as a way of rubbing your man in my face.
Hold on for 1 second, Anita. Why do you think I sent my boyfriend back to you to rub all that in your face? I never meant for anything like that at the party. Actually, at the party, he was just wanting to talk about his plans for me with other people to get their take on it. And I'm sure that it may have just come off as him bragging or myself bragging because he was explaining how happy he was to finally have a chance to propose to me.
Well, you planned all that out to make me jealous.
Why do you think either of us would be bragging in the first place about our relationship? I don't have any reason to be bragging to you or anyone for that matter.
Stop it with all that crap, Megan! I know everything about you and that boyfriend of yours. You stole my fiancé from me, Megan.
Huh? I stole your fiancé? Wait, I have zero idea of what you're getting at now.
You really are so naive. After I learned that you had stolen my fiancé, you still didn't even bother to recognize that and apologize to me. I told you, right? I know more than you think, and that my situation is a lot more complex than you think.
Can you explain to me what you mean by me having stolen your fiancé? I didn't even know that you had been engaged to anyone at that time.
The man that you're planning to marry is the man that I was destined to marry first.
What? You're joking about that, right? Because I remember at the reunion that you said you had a boyfriend of your own and that he was not my boyfriend, right? I mean, he couldn't have been my boyfriend because I've been together with him for 3 years now.
And you stabbed me in the back 3 years ago, you two!
I stabbed you in the back? I am so lost right now. Are you sure that you're not mistaking me and my man for some other couple? Like, you might have the wrong person here.
There's no way I have the wrong person. I have proof that you're with my fiancé from someone that was there with all of you when you guys began planning out the wedding.
What does that mean?
My mom works at that wedding hall. She isn't the one in charge of preparing your wedding, though. Back in high school, you would come over to my house, right?
Was that back when we had that Halloween party at school and after your family let me come over and stay the night?
Yes, and my mom remembered your face from that night. And recently, when she saw you at the wedding hall, she told me that she saw one of my friends there with my fiancé preparing their wedding.
So you're telling me your mom is the one that's witnessed me with your fiancé?
That's right. He is supposed to be my fiancé, yet right now it seems he's going to be marrying you. Why? You give my fiancé back to me right now.
What are you talking about?
Your man is a doctor, right? He's one because the rest of his family is doctors, right? Well, I want to marry him because if I can become his wife, I'll never have to worry about money again. So give me back my happiness.
He is, in fact, a doctor. Are you sure? Are you sure that my fiancé is supposed to be getting married to you?
I know that you're the one that's wanting to steal everything that makes me happy. I am not going to let you get away with this.
Wait a second, though. Can we wait until after you've calmed down and talk about all of this again? I need to talk with my fiancé about all of this as well. Do you think we can all go out and talk about this face-to-face somewhere? Anita?
This is the first time I've ever had to be the one to contact anyone like this. Anyway, I am Anita's mother.
Hello? Is there any reason for why I'm getting contacted by you right now instead of Anita?
Well, because of the current situation at hand right now after you stole my daughter's fiancé from her, I have to be here to talk with you. I have something I'd like to ask of you, and that's why I decided to text you right away instead of let Anita handle everything.
Wait a moment. I never planned to steal Anita's fiancé. And to tell you the truth, I talked with him about Anita and her story, but he told me he doesn't know anything about her.
That's not the case, Megan. I saw you with him very clearly. I saw you with her fiancé when the two of you came to the wedding hall to start planning you guys' wedding out.
Her fiancé? Are you sure that my fiancé doesn't just look similar to hers?
No way. He's definitely her fiancé. I don't remember what his first name is, but that last name of his is pretty rare. So I remember that. And on the day that you came to the wedding hall with him, I was able to see his last name on all the paperwork you both signed.
What? Both myself and my fiancé have no idea what you both are going on about. And for a long time now, I haven't even known that Anita was engaged to anyone yet.
At first, her and her fiancé had broken off wanting to get married.
They broke off getting married?
Anita didn't want to do that, but after talking about marriage and proposing to her, her fiancé later told her he was no longer wanting it. And after that, he stopped talking to her.
You're saying that a little bit after proposing to her, her boyfriend took it back and then left her? Did she actually get proposed to?
She did not. Not in the traditional way, that is. Anita just knew it was implied that he wanted her to be his wife. But now, after learning about you being with him, we understand why after talking about marriage with Anita, he backtracked and then left her. Both Anita and I both knew something was up when he did that to her, and that it wasn't because he didn't like Anita, but for some other reason.
Huh?
I have a reason to think that, right? I know that I'm her mother, but she is such a beautiful woman, Anita. There's no way a man would be leaving someone like her without some far more terrifying reason behind it. But now that I know what that reason is, I'm finally at peace.
That reason?
The reason being that you stole her fiancé from her, and that's why he was forced to break things off and go to you.
I did not steal any man from her.
Do you think you can give up on playing this game with us so that Anita can go back to being my happy baby girl?
What do you mean, give up on playing this game? Are you telling me to give up on wanting to marry my fiancé?
Well, isn't it strange to you that my beautiful girl cannot get married, but you of all people can? That man is supposed to be getting married to my daughter, Megan. His family is all full of doctors, right? If she is able to get with him and become his wife, my whole family will no longer have to worry about money anymore.
Wait, please. I'll tell you again, my fiancé does not know a thing about Anita. It's been 3 years now since we first started going out with one another. In other words, I know my fiancé very well, and he would never lie to me about having anything to do with Anita. And he would never be the kind of man to have 2 different relationships going on at the same time.
And that's because you had your way with him, right? Also that he would stop having relations with my daughter!
Can you please allow me to see Anita in person and talk all of this through properly?
You want to meet with Anita? Right now, that girl has been through so much after being stabbed in the back by both her friend and her fiancé that she's not even willing to go to work anymore. So stop trying to ask anything else of my daughter after all you've done to her!
But if we don't talk this over, then she's going to keep believing something that isn't true. And that will only lead to things becoming far worse between us down the road.
The fact is, you stole my daughter's fiancé from her and left her behind to have your way with her happiness. That's the truth. And I know all that to be true because I saw you with him at the wedding hall. Can I ask that you please stop hurting my daughter any more than you have already?
I am not trying to hurt your daughter in any way, though.
You're going to leave your fiancé so that my daughter can be happy again, right? And then I'm going to change your name on the wedding registry over to Anita and have that wedding you're planning out given to her.
What the hell are you talking about?
It's not only her that wants to be married to that man, but I want that as well for her. If she can become his wife, then even I will no longer have to worry about things like money and can have an early retirement. My husband passed away early, and so I feel that I'll never be able to get out of my line of work. I'm getting tired of having to work in this place, helping others have a happy marriage when I'm the one that wants to be happy for once.
So that's your reason for wanting to change my wedding and hand it over to your daughter, and then have my fiancé marry her during that wedding? That is going way too far.
If only I had just stayed quiet about you and him. Anita would have never been able to find out that you were with her man. Well, too bad for you, Megan. She's so lucky that her mother works at that wedding hall.
Can you please let me talk with Anita? Right now, all I can see happening from what you plan to do is more than just my fiancé and I being hurt.
I told you, right? She is not willing to talk with anyone right now. She knows the truth about everything now, and I'm not going to let you hurt her anymore. You better be ready for the day that we get everything you stole from her back. We're going to make you pay for ever thinking it was okay to steal someone else's fiancé, someone else's wedding, someone else's happiness.
Hold on, though, please. Hey?
Long time no see. Today is the perfect day for a wedding, right? The weather is just right and the sun is shining bright.
It's about time you replied to me. I haven't been able to get anything back from either you or your mother this whole time. I've only wanted for you and I to meet in person so that we can talk all this through in person, but now I'm stressed out because of you.
That's because my mom and I blocked you this whole time. But I thought that I'd unblock you today so that I could give you the news. Ha!
What news?
Someone has to be around to tell the backstabber the news, right?
What are you talking about, Anita?
I know about today, Megan. About how your wedding is supposed to be happening today. I know that because my mom was able to tell me.
How did she find out about the date? My fiancé worked so hard with the staff to make sure to keep all that information private from her and anyone else not related to the wedding. We even made sure to only work on the wedding on days that she wasn't at the hall. Yet, she still found out all the details?
Of course. And all I needed to know was the date of your wedding. Nothing else. Well, I also need to make sure that I'm there so that I can get into your wedding.
What are you thinking of doing?
I'm going to make sure that your wedding is a complete mess.
What? You plan to make my wedding a mess? You have to be joking now, right? If you plan on doing something like that to my wedding, then you're going to end up putting yourself into a bad position. What the heck is that?
That is the ashes of your wedding dress that I burnt up.
You burnt that dress? Like you actually went into the dressing room and burnt the dress yourselves?
My mom was able to get me into the dressing room while nobody was around, and we both worked to burn it to ashes. It was way too easy. A backstabber like you has no use for a dress like this, right? You are the one that stole my fiancé from me, so you deserve to have your dress destroyed. You're not going to complain about it, right? Your wedding's going to be freaking canceled now, you pile of trash.
But I'm already wearing my wedding dress.
Huh? You're wearing your wedding dress right now.
My wedding is starting here soon, and so I had to make sure that I was set for it all a while ago.
What? Wait. But I just burned your dress to a crisp, right?
Are you sure that's actually my dress, though?
Who else's dress would it be? My mom is the one that brought me to this room after all and helped me burn it, and she works here.
So you're telling me that you went into the dressing room with the help of your mom with the intent of burning my wedding dress?
This is my way of getting back at a backstabber like you.
Well, I'm not having my wedding in that wedding hall today.
Huh? What did you just say?
I didn't want to have my wedding at the place your mom worked, so we changed plans.
Wait a second. What do you mean by that?
We were worried by the fact that your mom works there and had a suspicion that she would do something that would cause our wedding to be ruined. So we worked with our specialist to have the wedding moved to a different location that's a part of the same company. Ah, that's right. We made sure to do all of this with the utmost secrecy so that your mom wouldn't be able to find anything else out about what we were doing. So she only knew about the plans we had made before we made changes.
You have to be kidding me. So, in other words, you're telling me that you're not here right now.
Well, that's right. And that also means that the dress I planned to wear today is not being kept there, nor is the dress I plan to wear for the party after.
So then who the hell's dress is this?
I have no clue. But that'd have to be the dress of whoever is planning on having their wedding there today, right?
So then your wedding isn't going to be canceled today, and you'll be able to get married to my fiancé?
Well, about that, Anita. After both your mom and you stopped replying to me, I looked a bit into you both and showed my fiancé. But he told me he had no clue who either of you are.
No matter what he says about us and what you showed him, you are the one that stole my fiancé from me.
Well, actually, that man that you had been dating for a while and then assumed you'd be getting married to before he left you and never replied to you again is someone that I've looked into as well.
You know about him because he's your fiancé.
He's my fiancé's cousin, Anita.
He's your fiancé's cousin? What? His cousin.
For a very long time, he and his cousin have both looked really identical to one another. So much so that even their moms get confused sometimes. And actually, I've met him once before as well, and they sure do look very similar to one another. But of course, if you look close enough at them, they have differences. And his cousin happens to be a bit older, 3 years in fact. However, my fiancé is the same age as you and I are. And if you watch them from afar like your mom did, they both have the same characteristics. I can see why she thought that he was your fiancé when she saw him a little while back.
So you're telling me that your fiancé and mine are both different people? But they are both still doctors, right?
You already know that, right? That both of them live in a family full of doctors?
Well, now that you mention it, you're right. So what you're saying is that this whole time it was all just a misunderstanding?
Well, when I spoke to my fiancé's cousin about you and him, he told me the reason for him leaving you is because after talking about marriage, he learned that you and him valued very different things. That's what led to him saying that you both should find other people.
We value different things? What about what I value is so wrong?
Well, he told me that if he had married you, then you asked him to come and live with you and your mom at her house.
Well, he should be doing that for us, right? I can't just leave my mom by herself to move out of the house and into a house of his own.
But to get to the hospital that he works at from your mom's house would take him over 4 hours a day round trip.
Well, that wouldn't matter to him because he'd have me as his wife and my mom as his in-law.
You also told him to hand over most of his earnings and make you his housewife so that you didn't have to work anymore. And you asked that he make sure to give you 5 kids. And of course, not just those things, but also that within a year of you guys getting married, that he remodels your mom's whole house into a place of your liking. The cost of all that being around $1.7 million.
Well, when you want the house to be all up to date with all the newest systems, as well as have all the smart home features on the market, the price will be that high.
You asked to make sure that the house was made into a place where you didn't even have to put any effort into the chores. Even saying that he could have cleaners come in twice a week to clean it out for you.
Well, I want the place to be spotless all the time, and I'd also like some pros to come in and cook for us every day so that our food is amazing. That should be perfect to him as well, right?
Well, what will you do for him, Anita?
I told him that I'll be his housewife and do the chores.
But you're wanting to have a cleaning service come in as well as pro chefs to cook dinner. From what I see, you're asking for him to give up all his money so that you and your mom can live like royalty while he works all day. That's why he left you, Anita.
What I asked from him is normal. He asked me to tell him what I valued and what I wanted, and I told him everything. I said that I'd do what I could do to support him as well.
Did you listen to what he wanted from you?
Of course I did!
Well, he told me that you didn't listen to anything he said to you.
He has to be BSing then.
He said that all you'd say to him is that he's a doctor, so he should be able to make himself happy and support himself, as well as you and your mom. He was tired of being with you because all you thought about was how with him being a doctor, it meant he could get you anything, and that you wanted everything from him.
But that's...
He has left you now, Anita, so can you please stop trying to talk about him like he's your fiancé?
Where is your wedding? He's the cousin of your fiancé, so he'll be there as well, right? I'm going to come to that wedding right now. I want for all of us, including my fiancé, to talk this over. And I'd like you to help me get back together with him.
You want my help?
If you can help us get married as well, then you and I can become cousins or something, right? We'll both become the wives of doctors. How about you and I get our husbands to build us one huge mansion of our dreams that we can all live in, including my mom?
I'm sorry, but I'm not telling you the location of my wedding. And it's getting time for the event to start anyway, so I'm going to need to get going. But let me tell you this one thing before I go. Your ex does not want to get back together with you, so leave him be.
You're telling me he doesn't want anything to do with me anymore? That's a straight up lie. Hold on a second, Megan. Megan, please answer your phone. I need your help.
There's nothing in this world that I'd be able to help you with, Anita.
Hurry up and get me back together with my ex right now.
I told you that that's going to never happen. He's over ever getting back together with you. So can you please just let him have the peace of mind that he deserves regarding you two?
If you don't get him to come back to me right now, I'm going to be screwed.
Screwed?
I need him to marry me right now so that he can pay off all the money that I owe.
What are you going on about now, Anita?
I am being told that I'm going to have to pay for the dress that I burnt, as well as pay off the settlement that's being asked from me. And the amount they want is massive. I'll never be able to handle all of this on my own.
But you're the one that chose to burn that dress to a crisp, right? It's only fair that they ask you to pay for their dress and whatever else they're upset about.
But that dress was custom made for the bride and tailored by a very famous man. And not only that, but my mom is going to get fired.
Well, that's because she helped you in burning up that dress, right?
Well, we only did that because we thought the dress was yours. Right now, neither of us are going to be able to pay off all this money. So I would like to meet my ex again and have him help us.
So you only want to get married to your ex now so that you can use his money to pay off the settlement you've been asked for?
He's a doctor, so something like that shouldn't be a problem for him, right?
I'm done with this. How much farther are you planning on being a problem for everyone? Because if you're going to take things any farther, I'll just block you and then you really will be without any help. But it's not like that would change anything because even now I have no desire to help you.
What? So you're totally okay with me losing all my money to a couple I don't know?
I do. And that's because you deserve all of that. You did all of this yourself with some help from your mom. So now you have to pay the price for it.
You're my friend though, right? You should be willing to help your friend out just a little, right?
Not only did you misunderstand everything like your mom, but you tried to burn the dress of your so-called friend. I do not need someone like you around me that thinks they can still be friends after that.
Don't say something like that to me. Right now, you haven't had to fall victim to anything, right?
It's not about me being a victim to anything involving all of this or not.
If nobody helps us, my mom and I are going to become homeless. Help us.
I'm sorry, but I'm going to cut all ties I have with you now. I can't be asked to deal with you any more than I already have. After this, the two of you figure something out by yourselves.
This has to be a joke, right? Wait, Megan! I was supposed to become the hot wife of a doctor, but now all my plans are falling apart.
After what had happened, both Anita and her mom tried going around to all their friends and family asking for money to help them out of the hole they were in. However, nobody had the money to help them with the debts they had and told them to find someone else to help them. In the end, they were forced to take out some loans by themselves and are using that money to pay off both the dress and the settlement for the ruined wedding. And to pay off those loans, they are both working completely new jobs, which mainly includes doing odds and ends work or being part-timers. And as for the relations they have between one another, their financial situation has really begun to ruin it, and they're left fighting one another day and night over who needs to be working more and paying more.
Mom! I'm going to be getting married soon! I plan to hand in our marriage papers real soon with the guy I've been dating.
Wait, you're getting married? And since when have you been going out with anyone, Misty?
You know better than to say something like that. I'm old enough now to where I have to have a man by my side. And the man I've been dating is the same age as me, and he's a very cool-looking guy.
Well, congrats on finding a man to marry, Misty. I have always been wondering when the day would come that you'd be getting married. But now to actually hear from you that you are, I can't help but think about what's next. When are you handing in those marriage papers? And do you plan to have a wedding for everyone to come see you guys at?
We plan to go to the city office very soon here. And the wedding will be happening sometime this year, we hope.
Well, being your mom, Misty, I've been dreaming of seeing you in a wedding dress. And so as your mom, I've done everything I could to raise you without a father here to help, and I'm so excited to hear that my dreams will finally come true. I'll try my best to support you with anything you need, even if I can't offer much, but I'll do everything to get you as nice of a wedding as you want. Before I do anything else, though, I'd really like to meet your soon-to-be husband. At this point, I really need to know who the man is, and that's why I need to see him before we begin preparing.
You don't have to worry about meeting him. I'm not planning on having him come back to your place anytime in the future.
Huh?
You actually think I'd bring him to that rundown shack you're living in? And I already told him that you don't really care to see him much, and that there's no need in him going out to see you. You should just be happy that I'm allowing you to come to my wedding, and then after that, you can leave the two of us alone.
Wait a second, Misty. What are you talking about? I get that this place is pretty old and has seen better days, but I've made sure to keep it clean and safe. And can you tell me why you think I don't care to see him? Why would you tell him a lie like that?
Huh? Well, what about that was a lie? I'm not really sure what you think about me right now, but I actually hate you a lot, Mom. And I feel that you won't need to waste your time seeing my man. And so that's why I've told him that you don't want to see him, because I don't want you seeing him. So it's not really a lie, right?
What?
To tell you the truth, I didn't even want to tell you about us getting married or about having you come to the wedding. But he did tell me that that was going a bit too far and that I needed to at least allow you the joy of seeing us marry. And that's why I'm allowing you to come even though I hate your guts. And that should be enough for you to be thanking me right now, right?
Wait, though, Misty! Why are you acting like this now? What happened to you? What do you mean you hate your own mom's guts? What did I do to you that caused you to start thinking that way? because I thought that I was doing a good job of showing you how much I care about you. Why do you hate me so much?
Shut the hell up, you old hag! You don't have the right to celebrate me now. It's because of you bringing me into a poor household without a father that I've been living such a troubled life. And a mother that thinks it's okay to raise her daughter like that deserves to be hated.
Excuse me?
All right. When you come to my wedding, don't you dare say a single word to anyone. I don't want to have to lose my wedding because you decided to talk without me allowing you to. And when it comes to my fiancé and his family, you don't have to bother yourself with trying to find them and talk to them. I just want you to sit there and shut up while I have my special day.
Hey, really, hold on for just a second. What has actually happened to you? I have no idea why you think that's a good reason to hate me so much. And what do you mean, a poor household? What about our family has been without enough money to live a good life? And just because I'm a single mother doesn't mean that I've troubled you in any way, or at least I didn't mean to.
Seriously? You have no right saying that to me after not allowing me to go overseas for school. And when it comes to wanting to go on trips to Hawaii with you, you never bothered taking me. In other words, you never gave a crap about me.
Huh? What trips to Hawaii? And when you say overseas for school, since when were you ever asking me about stuff like that?
My man told me all about this stuff. He said to me that there's no other reason for it besides you being poor, that I couldn't go overseas for school or to places like Hawaii on vacation.
Huh?
The man that I'm planning on marrying, he's super rich and from a family of rich people. From what he's told me, his parents run a very well-known company, and in a little while longer, he's expected to take over that company.
Wow, is that so?
At the moment, he's working for another company, learning about how to run a company of his own and the economics of it all. And it was at that company that him and I met and started to date. But starting to date a man like him made every day hell for me. I just knew that he would judge me all the time because I've had to grow up in a poor household with just you as a parent.
Huh?
I bet he still judges me for it, Mom! Unlike me, when he was in high school, he was allowed to go study abroad for school. And when it comes to where his family took him on vacation, it'd be places like Bali and Hawaii. Unlike his family, mine has been such an embarrassing mess that it's driven me crazy having to think about you being my mom.
Well, when you compare any other family to a family such as his, they will all look as though they don't have much money. But I'm telling you that we have had it lucky being able to live in such a decent house. And to tell you another thing, I've worked my butt off to make sure that we had the money to live a happy life here. Even though it was impossible for us to go to Hawaii, I still made sure to take you to all sorts of cool places closer to our house. And on your birthdays, I made sure to get you everything you ever asked me for, right?
And what about that means we have been living a happy life? His family goes to all sorts of cool places close to his house every month. And on his birthdays, he gets to have his own private chef come in and make him anything he asks for, right in front of his eyes. When you compare our family to that, we are the lowest of the low and considered piss poor. And you yourself are a piss poor excuse for a mother.
What?
If I could have at least had a father, I'm sure that he would have done enough to stop us from being so poor and made sure that we could take more vacations to places like Hawaii. But it's because you divorced him when I was so young that I've had to live with you all by myself and never experienced anything besides troubles.
It's the other way around, Misty. If your father was still around, you would have had to suffer a lot more than you think you have been. The whole reason for the divorce was to protect you.
Seriously?
Your father was a heavy gambler and would use up all our money to try and win it big. He was the kind of man that would spend every last penny on slot machines, even when it meant us not being able to buy fresh food for a whole month. So to protect you from a man like that, I left him. If it wasn't for me making that difficult choice to save you, then who knows what kind of horrible life we'd be living in right now.
Stop trying to lie about my father like that. If you'd never forced that divorce when I was so young, then we could be living a wonderful life right now. I know right now that Dad is a way better person than you are and is very successful.
What?
Did you think that after he was forced to leave us, he'd just stop trying to talk to his daughter? Well, I'll lay it out for you. Right now, my father is an owner of his own business. His company isn't as amazing as my fiancé's, but it's still a whole lot better than the company you own.
That man has his own business? And another thing, how do you know that he has his own business? Have you actually been talking with him again recently?
When it comes to business owners, they all happen to know one another pretty well. And so somewhere in there, they heard about how I've been dating the son of a CEO, and the news spread along to Dad. And that's why one day I got a message from Dad talking about his life.
Don't tell me that you've started to see him in person as well, right?
Dad is such a perfect father. He was even kind enough to bring me to such a fancy restaurant that they had a dress code in place. He ordered all our food like he knew every detail about the dishes, and he was even kind enough to give me a present. Unlike you, he's the best parent a girl could ask for.
That man did all that for you?
Stop trying to make him look bad because of his past. Everyone has to go through a point in their life where they become addicted to gambling. Normally, as his wife, you should have helped him get over that low in his life. But instead, you selfishly divorced him and made him deal with all that pain on his own. If it wasn't for you being such a selfish hag, then my life would be so much better now. Heck, you could have at least let me go see him every other week after the divorce, and I could have had access to all his money. It's all your fault that my life sucked so much.
Are you kidding me?
If you understand now why I hate you so much, shut the hell up and be quiet when it comes time for my wedding.
Misty, wait a second. What the heck was that whole speech about just then? What you said in front of everyone? Why would you ever read a letter like that to me in front of everyone saying that you want to cut ties to me?
I'm happy to see that you obeyed the promise we made and stayed quiet the whole time. But what you heard today from me was true, and that's why we are done here. After today, you and I are no longer mother and daughter.
All of that was not a good enough reason to want to leave me, though. I get what you were saying to me before as reason for wanting to hate me, but cutting ties to me because of all that? And saying that to me in front of everyone at your wedding?
What's so wrong with that? I was just telling everyone the facts about you. I told them that you didn't let me study abroad, which left me without a perfect education, and told them that while everyone was out having a great time with their families, you'd made me work a part-time job. And when it came to the money I made from a part-time job, you made me give it all to you. I also enjoyed finishing that speech off by saying that life with you has been hell and I want it to end. Now everyone is on my side and asking for things between us to be over for good.
Huh?
After having to hear all of that from me in front of everyone at my wedding, that should be enough to get you to give up on me, right? And even if that isn't enough to get you to leave me, everyone hates you now. So you have no other choice.
And those are your reasons for giving such a cruel speech about me in front of everyone? You must have no idea the amount I have sacrificed for you. Because all I saw from you today was you making up a bunch of events to make it seem as though you were the only one suffering.
Huh?
You never even once told me that you wanted to study abroad or anything like that when you were in school. And from what I remember, your scores in school were too low anyway for them to give you permission to go study overseas.
And my scores were low because you made me work part-time. You made me work after school every day because you didn't have enough money for us, and it's because of me having to work all evening that I never had time to study.
You're wrong, Misty. The only reason you had to work a part-time job was because every month you'd spend around $5,000 on online games. I told you plenty of times to stop spending all that on your phone, but you never listened. And that's why, to make up for all that money you kept spending, I had you work. You are pretty much an adult anyway when you're in high school, so you should know better than to be spending that much of my money on your phone. You needed to learn that you have to earn the money you want to spend on entertainment. If it wasn't for me forcing you to start working a little to make up for all that money lost, then we actually wouldn't have had enough money to live decent lives.
No matter what the reason was for that, you forced me to work and took all the money I made. Normal families would have been fine with me spending that much money on things that made me happy. But instead, my mom didn't even bother to let me have my fun, instead threatening me by saying that we wouldn't have enough money for food because of my spending habits. And when I told Dad about all of this, he said you treated me like an animal. He said that had he been around when I was spending that much, he would have continued to pay for everything for me.
You're back to talking about that man?
Well, whatever. Just know that after today, you and I are done. I struck out terribly having to be raised by a failure like you. Well, now I'm not going to stick around for when you get old and need my help. And you can kiss seeing me ever again. Goodbye.
Are you really okay with that?
You know for a dang fact that I am, you old hag. All you are to me now is a waste of mental space.
Calling your only parent a waste of mental space, huh?
I still have Dad around to care for me when I need it. So I'd much rather have my mind thinking about him over you. Even tomorrow, he's willing to come to town to let me see him again, and we promised that. He said he wants to come and celebrate my marriage as well. I wonder what kind of gift he's gotten me this time. Maybe a brand new car.
Either that or he'll be handing you an IOU. He must know by now that you're married to a very wealthy man and will be coming to get his hands on some of the money.
Huh?
For a man that never paid any of his daughter's child support, it's pretty brave of him to come back to see you again. Tell him that I said that when he comes to see you tomorrow.
Hold on 1 second, Mom. Why would Dad ever come to me to hand me an IOU? And wanting to borrow money from me? No way. Right now, Dad is a CEO himself and can afford anything he wants.
I'm sure that he's some kind of CEO. Now I'm going to listen to what you've said and make sure that I never come around you ever again. Go ahead and enjoy the rest of your life.
Mom, come help me. When I went to go meet with Dad, he had a really scary dude with him. And he didn't even introduce himself to me before he started to yell to me about why Dad has borrowed so much money from him. That scary dude told me that Dad is over $200,000 in debt with him, and that he needs that money back right now. He even told me that I'm going to be the one to pay it back since Dad has nothing.
Oh my. Seems that gift Dad was bringing you for your wedding turned out to be a bluff. I'm surprised to hear that even Dad thinks a gift like that is okay to give to a young wife.
How the hell is something like this a gift? And actually, what the hell does he mean Dad owes him over $200,000? What the hell was Dad doing to get here?
I'm pretty sure that the scary dude explained that to you when he was telling you everything else, right?
He's so scary that most of what he said didn't even enter my ears. I freaked out so much before he could even finish that I ran to a public bathroom nearby and am currently hiding in it. Can you tell me what the actual hell is going on right now?
Even if I tried my best to explain, I've only heard rumors about your dad. From those rumors, though, it's thought that your dad runs a pretty risky business. Apparently, his company sells commodities at extremely high prices to people that need them desperately, which forces them to end up paying. At first, a company like that will make bank, forcing its customers to pay that much, but the company won't last long. And from other things I've heard, his company is currently going bankrupt. And that's probably what led to him having to borrow a lot of money, trying to save his skin.
You have to be lying, right? How could all that be true when only recently he took me to that really nice restaurant with him, and he was able to give me such a high-brand present? Could he really afford all that for me when his company is going under?
Well, when you stop to really think about all of this, his timing for coming back to talk to you is a little too spot on. The moment he learned about you marrying the son of a CEO, he started to get back in touch with you again. I'm sure that his only goal in getting close to you was to get that money.
What am I going to do, Mom? I really want to run away from here right now. Can you come out here and help me get away?
I'm sorry, Misty. We made it pretty clear yesterday that neither one of us would ever be seeing one another again, right? So I won't be able to come save you, therefore you'll need to figure something out for yourself.
What?
You told me that you ended up with me as the worst parent, right? But don't you worry, as you have yourself a wonderful husband now with all that money. I'm sure that you can just go and ask him to pay off your dad's debts, right? Or if the man is as scary as you say, you can just get a lawyer to go and deal with him for you from your husband.
And I normally would want to go ask my husband to help me out here, but right now is not the best time to be doing that. I just got a message from my husband only a few seconds ago, and he told me that he wants the two of us to get divorced already.
Huh? He wants a divorce now? Didn't you guys just have your wedding yesterday?
And yesterday I gave that speech saying that I wanted to cut ties with you, right? Well, apparently his parents and him weren't too happy to hear that from me, and so they went ahead and looked into me a bit more to see if I really was living a life in hell with you. And when they did that, they started to learn about my poor grades in school and about how I had spent so much money on my games. And after learning all that, my husband told me that you were nothing more than an average mother to me, and that the hell I was living in was my own fault.
My oh my. It's crazy to think that right after you learned about your father's debt and how he needs you to pay it off, your husband is ready for a divorce. This must really be a tough spot for you.
Please, Mom, come help me! I don't want to have to pay over $200,000 to that scary dude, and I don't want to get divorced!
Well, you can tell me that all you want, but I can't do anything for you. You told me that you wanted to cut ties to me, right? So stop trying to take all you said to me back now just because you need my help again.
I believe that we met for a brief second yesterday, but this is your son-in-law's mother, Daisy. Nice to have met you.
Nice to have met you as well. But as you heard yesterday, I'm no longer really your son's mother-in-law anymore after my daughter cut ties to me.
And about that, I think what your daughter did was just tragic. After taking the time to look into you guys a bit more, we learned that you actually didn't do anything wrong whatsoever to her. Yet for some reason, she believes she can talk about you in such a nasty tongue?
I just heard about a lot of this from her a little bit ago. And from what she was saying, your son is planning to divorce her?
I'm sorry that my son is asking for something so depressing as divorce just after the two of them had their wedding. But after hearing about the way she spoke about you, even though her past was her responsibility, we have no patience in waiting around for her to grow up. I hope you can understand that.
I do understand why your son wants the divorce. Misty did all of this to herself, so she really does need to learn, one way or another, not to act like a spoiled brat. But I wonder why, after hearing her give that speech, you guys chose to look into her. I really thought that everyone at the wedding would believe what she was saying and be on her side.
Well, you and I are both mothers, right? I understand the troubles of having to raise a daughter and that it must be way more difficult when you have to do it alone. There is also one other thing that I never mentioned to Misty. That's that her father used to cause me a lot of headache in the past.
Huh? What do you mean by that?
Well, right after Misty and my son got engaged, a man with the same last name as her came to our house looking for her. When he showed up, he told me that we had to make sure that his daughter became my son's wife. And once he told me that, he handed me an envelope full of cash as a payment in advance for getting our son to stay with your daughter.
You're lying. That man actually went ahead and did all of that to you?
Of course, I told him I didn't want his money. And that I wasn't going to try and stop my son from marrying Misty or anything. But when I told him that I didn't want his money, he told me that it was actually to pay for us to later take good care of him after Misty became a part of the family. However, after hearing that speech from Misty at her wedding, the three of us all lost our love for Misty at that moment, knowing that she'd be nothing but trouble like her father.
So that's what ended up happening. I don't even know how to apologize for the troubles my daughter and ex have caused.
You don't have to apologize for anything. At this point, we are going to be saying goodbye to her as our daughter-in-law, and she already cut ties to you. So she's just a stranger at this point to all of us. If anything, think of this as a way of completely saying goodbye to those two. You are finally free from them, and should look forward to a life of relaxation from now on.
Thank you so much, Daisy. Just hearing that from you now has lifted a lot of weight off my back.
What am I going to do, Mom? He actually left me like he said he would. And when I tried to get them to listen to me, they wouldn't have it and told me to go away. They told me that they won't be allowing anyone into their family that they can't trust. And that they won't allow me to be their son's wife when all I do is complain and ask for help from them. His parents and him have already filed the divorce, and there's nothing I can do now.
And so from now on, you're completely alone. Must hurt knowing that they left you like you left me.
You don't have to say something like that to me now. Just come here and get me. I already tried once to get back into your house, but you never came out to get me. Why not? Hurry up and unlock the door so I have a place to sleep tonight. Stop trying to bully me and open the dang door.
Oh, for goodness sake, you went back to that old house? I'm sorry, but I've already moved out of there. So I'm no longer in that house anymore.
Huh? You moved out?
Well, you were the one that cut ties to me, right? And since I didn't have a daughter anymore, I was in that place all by myself. But even though I was alone, there were still a lot of memories of us trapped in that place that haunted me. So I did my best to forget about you, and that meant getting out of there. And just like that, I'm now having a great time living on my own.
If you were going to do something like that, you should have told me sooner. I'm going to come to your new place now, so tell me the address.
Huh? Why would I tell some crazy stranger the address to my new house? I don't want you back in my life, and especially not back living with me.
Huh?
You and I are no longer family anymore, so this is acceptable to think, right? You are no longer my daughter, just a stranger now. So I'm not telling you a thing about my new life besides that it has nothing to do with you.
Well, wait, Mom? I just lost my husband and now have no place to go to anymore. Your cute little girl is in need of some help right now, and you're not going to come save her?
I already told you that I don't have a daughter anymore. But you do have a father around you still, right? And he's entrusted you with paying off his $200,000 debt, so there must be something between you both, right? The fact that he's made it this far with that kind of debt means he'd be the perfect person for you to ask for some help from. Having a man like him around to father you again after being through the worst of it himself would be the perfect thing for you.
There's nothing perfect about any of that. All he's been trying to do is get me wrapped up in his awful life.
But even after all the years I spent raising you, you chose to keep him as your father while throwing me away, right? So you can have a great life with him now, Misty. I've got to get back to living my wonderful life as a single woman now, and I hope things go well for you soon, just like me. After that, Misty started to freak out, worrying about how her dad's debt would soon affect her, and even quit her job to run and hide. But no matter where she tried to run and hide, my ex seemed to still be hot on her trail. And when he did finally catch her, he started to call her a failure for not being able to stay married to the man that had all that money, and forced her to start working for him. Now, not only was Misty forced to start working for her dad to help him make money, but her friends started to find out as well about the debt. And not just the debt, but about the divorce as well, and began to spread rumors about her. And soon those rumors began to pick up pace and spread like wildfire. As for what's happened with me after all of this, I've just been living the good life as a single, middle-aged woman. I had to sacrifice a lot of my life raising Misty all by myself for a long time, but comparing the life I had raising her, my life all alone now is 10 times better.
Hey, Grace, are you there? I heard that your date last night didn't go well, did it? What is this now, the 10th guy that you've gone through? You're already 36 years old and you've never ever been in a serious relationship? Don't you think that's just a bit pathetic?
Excuse me? And just what is pathetic about wanting to take my time and make sure that I found the right person, huh?
I just mean that if you wait too long or act too picky, that no one is ever going to want to marry you. You really should just lower your standards and get married already. It would make things so much easier for you.
Because you know that as you get older, it's going to get harder and harder to get people to think you're attractive.
I don't really care what other people think of me. Besides, I'm in no huge rush to try and get married right away. Besides, the person that I would want to marry wouldn't care about my age or how I look. In fact, it's been Mom this whole time who's been setting up these blind dates for me, but I never even asked her to.
Well, if Mom didn't do it for you, then who would? Although you'd probably rather date one of those dumb men from the romance novels that you read. You're such a loser. Do you know that? When are you going to get real? You realize that the written word isn't any kind of substitution for a real flesh and blood husband, right?
Literally, what are you even talking about right now?
Oh, please. I already know all about it from Mom. She tells me that you spend so much of your free time with your nose buried in a bunch of romance books. But you're almost 40 years old. It's time for you to put the books down and try experiencing life for once. If you don't do that, then people might start to think that you're some kind of creep or something. Don't you want to be happily married?
I am sorry, but Mom has no right to judge me for wanting to read books when all she does is watch TV all day. As for getting married, when the right person comes along, I'll know and then we'll marry.
You really think that the perfect man is just going to walk right up to you, get on one knee, and propose to you right then and there? No, I know that you really have been reading too many of those romance novels. But do you really actually believe that at your age? I mean, do you think that's how dating works in the real world? Especially at your age?
And just what is that supposed to mean, huh? How stupid do you really think I am?
I don't think you're stupid. More just in denial and jealous of how much more successful my love life has been. After all, while I was getting married at 20, you were still lying to us about that made-up boyfriend that you had, remember? Now that was a new low for you. But it also was just so funny how pathetic it was.
It wasn't a made-up boyfriend, Sally. He was real.
Yeah, sure. It wasn't just someone that you came up with because I was getting married that year. And how could you not be jealous when my husband is so handsome and sweet and makes a ton of money on top of that? I mean, I'm sure you've seen my vlogging about just how amazing our lives together are. You are seeing all my posts about my life, aren't you?
No, actually, I haven't really checked out all your social media pages at all.
Wait, what? What do you mean? You have to go and look. I post something just about every single day. Like the other day, I was posting all about the new Porsche that my husband bought, and I included this in the caption, so you would know if you were following me. But it cost around $1 million.
Wow, your husband really bought a Porsche? I guess he must be doing really well at work then, huh?
Well, I can't really say that I'm all surprised, given I know just how brilliant he really is. Maybe it's time you admit that you have a couple of things that you would learn from me about how to find a husband. After all, we're only young in our lives once, and once it's gone, that's it. So maybe you should put just a little bit more work into finding a husband while you still have your youth. If you don't, then I can guarantee you now that you're going to end up old and lonely.
Well, thank you so much for all your well-meant concerns about me, Sally. But I want you to know that even when I am old, I would still rather be old and have stuck to my principles than unhappily married for several decades.
Oh, sorry. I should have been more clear. I'm not really worried about you at all. I'm really only concerned for Mom and Dad's sake. I mean, don't you feel bad for the two of them? Obviously, they thought you were going to be the first to move out, but you're still living with them. Don't you know how badly they want you out of the house already? You're nothing but a leech to them.
Are you seriously saying that I'm just leeching off of Mom and Dad? You really have no idea what you're talking about, do you?
Well, am I lying? If you think that I am, why don't you go and talk to Mom about this? Because she told me that she is sick and tired of having you at home. Both of our parents see it clear as day, the scam that you're trying to run on them. They call and text me every day just talking about how much they'd wish you'd just leave them alone already.
Is this supposed to be some kind of cruel joke or something like that? You really think that I'm going to believe a word that you're saying?
But everything I'm saying is true. All you do is use up Mom and Dad's money. And then you have the gall to try and tell me I'm wrong when you can't even take care of yourself. You know, Mom was actually crying to me over the phone the other day. She told me that thanks to you, she doesn't even have any money to buy clothes for herself.
Oh, come on, that is just ridiculous.
It's totally true that you just take all of Mom and Dad's money and just use it on yourself, right? And meanwhile, you make Mom and Dad take care of the house and do all of the cleaning while you go out partying all night. Although I can't imagine what it actually is that you're doing since you don't even have a boyfriend.
You have got some serious nerve talking to me like this, do you know that? And has Mom really said all of these things to you? Because I don't know if I believe that.
Well, I don't care what you believe because I already know that you're just awful. You do nothing to help out our parents while you live in their house and use them for their money. You're going to leave them penniless and make sure that every last cent of their savings has somehow been spent on you. You're the one that has some serious nerve treating your own family that way. Do you know that? Because you're nothing but a pathetic old maid who nobody is ever going to love. That's why you have to take out your frustrations on Mom and Dad, isn't it?
I can't believe that you are actually sending me messages like that. You are taking this way too far right now.
I can't believe that you still won't own up to the truth. Maybe this is why you can never find someone to date you. You just refuse to acknowledge any kind of truth.
Mom, are you there? I think you and I need to have a little chat right now. Do you really think of me as some kind of leech on you and Dad? Because I think we both know that that is just a bit ridiculous.
Wait, what? What do you mean? Where is this coming from all of a sudden?
I am talking about all the things that I just heard from Sally. She told me all about the conversations you two have about me behind my back. Do you really think that I'm just after yours and Dad's money? And that I forced you two to take care of the house while I go out all the time? Because I think we both know that I have never done that, even once.
Grace, dear, what on earth are you talking about? You're always the one who is taking care of the house, and I've never said anything to the contrary. I think that your sister is just jealous of living so far away from us, so she's resorted to making up horrible lies about you.
Because I just want to make it clear now that the only financial role I play for you and Dad is helping Dad pay down his credit card debt. I have been working so hard for a year to try and repair his credit score and lessen the debt that he has. That's the only way that I control your money.
I know. And you have to know how grateful your father and I are for that. It's been such a relief seeing some actual money go into our savings account for once. We had been living in the red for so long before then.
I know, and there was no way that your retirement money was going to be enough for the kind of help that you two needed. That's why I've been helping you guys by giving you money every month. It was so that you could focus on paying down your debt.
Of course we all know that's true. In fact, the only reason why your father and I can't spend money how we used to is because you're insisting that we save so much.
Well, so then why did Sally think that I was putting all of the housework on you and Dad? Because I thought we agreed that if I paid for all of the utilities at home, that you and Dad said you would handle the housework. You told me that you would agree to doing it if I paid you $1,500 a month, remember?
I know, but I thought I told you that we need to raise that up to $3,000 a month or else it just wasn't going to cut it. But you told me, remember? You said that you know $1,500 would be enough for me. So, basically, you denied your mom more money and still expect her to take care of the house. I don't think I'm being unfair in describing that if you basically forcing your dad to clean the house for peanuts.
I'm sorry, but I just don't see why you would need that much money given that I'm already paying for so much around here.
Because I have expenses that I need to cover as well, okay? And I don't need you making a big deal about the price. Did you know that last month I went through all the money you gave me just on food alone?
You only spent it all on food because you and Dad used it to treat yourselves to eating out all the time. And when you would cook at home, you went to the most expensive grocery stores for your ingredients. I'm sorry, but if you don't know how to spend your money wisely, that isn't my fault. You and Dad need to realize that the family business is not bringing in the money that it used to, and you two need to learn how to save for your futures.
But it isn't fair! I hate that cheap supermarket near our house. It's clear that everyone who shops there is so poor, and I stick out like a sore thumb.
Well, it's either learn how to spend your money wisely or go into debt again, okay? You do realize that when I get married, I'm going to move out of the house, and that means I'm going to be paying for a lot less. So that's why I'm trying to help you and Dad get your finances in order before that happens. Can't you see that it's for the good of you two that I'm doing this?
Oh, really? You have got some nerve pretending like you're doing this all from the good of your heart. And just what is this talk about you getting married when you don't even have a boyfriend? I wish that you would get married just so that you could finally leave us alone.
You don't really mean that, do you? Is that really what you want to happen?
It doesn't matter since you don't even have a man who could ask you to marry him. Although it isn't like I haven't tried setting you up with countless good-looking young men. Do you have any idea how hard it was to arrange some of those dates for you? If anything, I should be getting more money from you just for doing that service. Besides, at least if you did get married to someone, then between your two incomes, you could easily afford to give me $3,000 a month.
I really don't know what to say to that. Here I was thinking that you were just concerned about me. But now you come out and say that this whole thing was just a way for you to try and get more money from me?
Of course this is about the money. You've been living at home with your father and I for far too long now. Why else do you think I've been trying so hard to find someone you can marry? I want you to get out there, marry some rich guy, and make sure that your dad and I get a kickback.
Mom, I don't even want to have this conversation with you anymore. I'm going to marry someone for love, and that's it. And when I do marry, you and Dad aren't going to see another penny from me. Do you understand? Now I need to go and calm down and think about things. Sally, are you there? Please, you need to get back to me right away. Have you been in contact with Mom and Dad lately? I just got back from work and neither of them are home. Do you have any idea where they might be? Even all their things are gone. The house is practically empty. Do you have any idea what might be going on here?
Oh, I think I have a very good idea. After all, Mom and Dad are sitting right here next to me. And they are both just so happy about how much they were able to sell the house for. So, the three of us are all together to celebrate a job well done on our part.
Wait a second, what do you mean they sold the house? I don't understand.
Well, the house is empty. You said so yourself, right? And the reason is because Mom and Dad decided to sell the house and the land it was on. Which means that you might want to start packing up your bags and getting ready to leave too. Because you certainly won't be able to stay there much longer.
Wait a second, are you serious? Did Mom and Dad seriously try and sell that house? When did this happen? Why wasn't I told about this at all until now? I mean, I can't just come home to the news that the house is gone. That isn't fair.
Aw, yeah. I guess this means that you'll have to find another place to live right away, huh? Sucks for you, ha ha ha. But then again, this is what you get for being such a little leech on Mom and Dad until now. You don't deserve to stay with them. So I say that this is what you get.
You still really think that I've been leeching off Mom and Dad this whole time?
I don't think, I know. I know that you're almost 40 and you're still expecting your Mom and Dad to take care of you. Well, I'm glad that Mom and Dad finally wised up to what you were doing to them. I talked to Mom and she told me that she would much rather live with us rather than you. That's why we kept this a secret from you. But now the house is sold and there's nothing you can do about it.
So then Mom and Dad are going to be moving in with you and your family instead?
That's right. And you're going to be left out in the cold with no one to take care of you anymore. Mom and Dad knew this was the only way to get you to stand on your own 2 feet and finally find yourself a man.
I don't believe it. I never would have guessed in a million years that Mom and Dad would have done this to me. And I'm even surprised about your husband. You two haven't even been married that long, but he's going along with this?
He was more than happy to let Mom and Dad come and live with us, actually. Now I'm going to take care of Mom and Dad and make sure I get all the inheritance.
What inheritance are you talking about? There's nothing left if they sold the house. After all, Dad's business is more of a liability than an asset right now.
Well, I'll still get the money that they got from the house. Besides, I would be more concerned about finding out where you're going to live.
Oh, I'm not worried about that at all. If Mom and Dad sold their house, I'll just go and live with my boyfriend.
Is that your way of saying you're going to try and make a little hut for yourself out of all your romance novels? Too bad the men from those books aren't real. No one's going to come and save you now.
No, I meant I'll just go and live with my flesh and blood boyfriend. But anyways, enjoy ruining your marriage by living with Mom and Dad. Hope that goes well for you. After all, if you're taking care of them, that just means that it'll be up to you to help with their debt now.
Their debt? What do you mean by that? I thought Dad was able to sell his company for a ton of money.
I don't know where you got that information from, but Dad did not sell his company. In fact, it's on the brink of bankruptcy, actually. Mom and Dad were both going into so much debt just to keep the business afloat.
No, that can't be right. I mean, Mom told me that it was a huge sale. She told me that her and Dad were going to be set for life.
I see. So it was Mom who gave you the bad information. Well, I'm sorry to break it to you, but I'm only telling you the truth. In fact, this has been a problem with them for a while. They both just never could wrap their heads around making less money. And their spending habits only worsened because of that. They ended up in a cycle of taking out new loans to pay back their old ones.
I don't believe this. Why didn't I know any of this? This is crazy.
Well, one of the reasons why I stayed with Mom and Dad so long was because I was helping them restructure their finances. If anything, I'm just glad that it's not my problem anymore.
But then, if all they really have is debt, that means that I'm not going to get any money from them at all.
Yeah, but at least you have your Porsche-buying husband to help you out with that. Don't worry, I'm sure that all of you will be able to figure this out and get along with each other, right? In the end, Sally did end up sticking to her word and let Mom and Dad move in with her and her husband. A part of me hoped that living together would have pushed them towards humility, but instead it just brought out the worst in them. Now it wasn't just Sally, but even my mom who was posting pictures of social media of her showing off the fancy house, car, and everything else that Sally and her husband owned. But it wasn't long before commenters on their posts were accusing them of leading a fake rich lifestyle that was all just for show. This all came to light when it was discovered that between all of them, they had well over $100,000 in debt. The last I heard, Sally's home was being repossessed and they all had to move into a cramped apartment together so they could all focus on their debt. Of course, how well that's going in practice is a whole nother question.
Hello, Edith. Long time no see. Have you been doing all right? Are you getting around to finding yourself a boyfriend yet?
I've been doing all right. Thank you. But when it comes to a boyfriend, I'm still without one, all right.
Really? So you're telling me you're still single then, huh? You're almost into your 40s now. So I'd say this is pretty much it for you then. Even your younger sister is married to someone now. So I'd have to say you're just a loser now, huh?
It's wild to think you have the time to make fun of me like this when you're newlywed to your husband now and should be busy with that.
Excuse me? Unlike someone who's never worked a day in their life, I actually have been very busy and don't have that much time on my hands. I have to make sure that to please my husband, I'm cleaning the house every day over here. And the only reason I'm talking with you today is because I have something important to tell you about.
What kind of important stuff do you have to tell me?
Actually, I happen to be pregnant now. I was able to get married at the perfect age of 24, and at the age of 25, I'm already having my first baby. I think I am living the perfect life right now that any woman would be jealous of, right? Unlike a total loser like you, Edith, I'm winning the game of life.
Congrats, Emma. That is a very wonderful thing to tell me about. Now you'll have even more things to brag to me about.
Wow. You're even more excited about me than I thought you'd be. I was right to talk to you about this now instead of waiting until a closer date.
Huh? What's wrong with me being happy about you getting pregnant? I think it's normal for everyone to be happy about your new baby. I'm sure that when you tell Dad and Mom about this, they'll be over the moon with excitement.
But you're happy about all of this for a different reason, right? You're happy to hear that you'll now have a new niece or nephew that you can have over any time to take care of you when you're old and senile, right?
What?
Well, that's why I'm telling you about this now. Now listen, just because I'm having a baby and all that doesn't mean you get to see them and use them for your each and every desire, okay? I don't want you and your sad single woman life getting in the way of my family as you age, so stay away from us, okay?
Hold on a second, Emma. You actually think someone like me would have such selfish thoughts as that about you and your family? I would never have you and your kids or husband come to me when I get older and need assistance. I happen to have money saved up for that, so when the time comes, I can be put into a retirement home.
I wonder if that'll really be the case. You'll be lonely and sad, so you might go to extremes to get whoever you can to help you, right? You don't even have someone around you now promising to look after you when you're old, and I'm sure that money you're talking about isn't even real. I'm telling you that if you don't start getting out and working more, you won't have the money to support yourself. And besides, when you get to that age, you should be asking your immediate family for help caring for you first. And I'm guessing you'll try and get me or my kids to take care of you then.
I would never do that to you guys. I've been thinking about my later years for a while now and really do have the money saved for it.
You seriously are going to continue thinking I'd believe that? Ha! I know for a fact you want to use my kids to look after you when you can't care for yourself anymore. But that's too bad for you, Edith. Ha! I will never have my kids meeting you ever. And I for sure won't let them go out to care for you at all. So you can forget being happy about me having a baby soon, because they are never going to meet you.
Never? You're saying I can't meet any of your kids in the future because I'm still single?
I feel that you are going to try and spoil my kids in order to get them to help you when you're old and helpless, right? In the future, you'll tell me that you took such great care of them and that's why you need their help or something like that. And then you'll force them to have to go to your side and hear out.
What the heck have you been going on about, Emma? I was actually pretty excited to hear about you having your first baby, but now that excitement has passed.
If you really want to be around my family in the near future, then hurry up and find yourself a husband, all right? Right now, you are far too old to still be living with Mom and Dad. And by this point, I'm pretty sure both Mom and Dad are getting tired of your crap there. Hey, Edith. Did you hear the news? Your little sister is pregnant.
Well, if that's what you just heard, I was told that by her an hour ago. But she ruined the mood for me really quickly. I was so excited to hear that she was going to have a baby, but that soon stopped after what she had to say.
What? What the hell happened between you both?
Even though she'll be having her baby, she said that a single woman like me will never get a chance to meet them. She thinks that I'll start to spoil them or something, all for the goal of getting them to care for me in my later years or something. And so she's never going to let her see a single woman as selfish as me. That's what she was going on about.
What? You're telling me that Emma said those horrible things to you?
I knew that she'd be back eventually and still make fun of me. She thinks that she's winning the game of life because she got married young and is having her first baby only a year later. And compared to her, I'm some kind of lost cause loser that still has to live with you and Dad still.
Edith, I'm so sorry about all of that. The fact that Emma turned out like this has to be because of your dad and I.
That's right. Both Dad and you always loved to be more caring for her and never bothered to show me that same affection. You guys never even acted like you cared about me, and everything had to be about Emma. And that's the reason why now even she feels as though it's okay to make fun of me and call me a loser.
That's not it at all, Edith. It wasn't that your dad and I didn't care about you. But, well, we were finally able to have another child, and she was our second daughter. And when she was really young, she'd always get sick, so we had to give her a lot more time than you. So because of that, it seemed as though we really spoiled her. Which we kind of did. But, of course, all of that is a bad excuse, right? I'm so sorry about everything, Edith.
At the time, I was a bit worried about what would happen to me, but I've managed on my own so that you don't have to be sorry anymore. But since you guys were the ones to make her this way, I'd like both Dad and you to be the ones to handle her now. Make sure to celebrate her first baby for me, okay?
Well, about her and that baby. Right now, I'm not really wanting to celebrate the fact that she's pregnant now.
What? You don't want to celebrate your number one daughter being pregnant? What's gotten into you all of a sudden?
This all didn't start to happen overnight, okay? It's been ever since the day she got married that I started to think differently of her. A lot of things happened between us, and ever since her wedding, I haven't spoken much with her.
Is that right? I always thought you kind of slowed down with all the affection you'd been giving her after she married. What happened between the two of you that I'm not aware of?
Well, that's the thing. I'll have to tell you about it later. Just know that because of things, your dad and I aren't really too excited about her either. We'll celebrate her pregnancy a little bit, but besides that, we have no plans on doing anything with her.
I see. Well, she's got her own family now anyway, so that's probably the best option. I wouldn't want things to get worse around us because of her, so it's best to keep creating some distance one step at a time. Let's just be quiet when things come to her and hope that she has a safe pregnancy and childbirth.
I want you out of this house right now, Edith. Starting today, I'm going to be living here with Mom and Dad.
Huh? Emma?
I've been told it's your fault that I'm not able to come back to Mom and Dad's house to have my baby, and it's pissed me off big time. I'm not letting a woman in her 40s get in the way of me being able to stay with them any longer. I've already taken all your things and thrown them outside for you. Grab all those things soon and then get lost.
Can you slow down for 2 seconds? What do you mean you want to come back and have your baby at Mom and Dad's house? And also, why do I have to leave their house in order for you to do that?
All women go back to their hometown when having their baby, right? So I was thinking I'd go back home to their house and have my baby. However, both Mom and Dad have told me not to come back to their house. They told me I no longer have a room there and that I should just give up.
Really? You're telling me that Dad and Mom both told you no to coming back to the house to have your baby?
Yes. And when I tried to ask them why I didn't have a room there anymore, they didn't give me a single answer. That's why I decided that I'm going to have to force my way back in. If I've come all the way back to their house, they'll have no other choice but to let me stay, right?
What?
And when I came into the house, I saw something that I want an explanation for right now. It looks like you had all your things in my room and took it from me.
Well, you got married and no longer live in the house with us anymore, right? And when it comes to my job, the company said it was okay for me to start working remotely. Since that's something I've been looking forward to for a long time, I decided to use your room and turn it into my office.
And that's the reason why Mom was telling me I had no room here and said no to me coming home, right? The obvious reason for it is that you've taken my room, and so this is all your fault. I bet both Mom and Dad have been wanting their cute daughter back home as soon as possible.
What?
I want you out of there immediately. I have a very big baby in my belly right now and don't want to stress anymore about you being around me. I am back to have my baby here, and in order to do that safely, I need you gone.
The fact that you just barged into a house you were told not to come back to and then asked me to leave right away is pretty bold and terrible of you. I get it. I'll hand my office and everything back over to you while you're home. Then you won't have anything else to complain about, right? I'll give you back your old room, but I'm going to stay in the house as well.
Huh? That's only going to make me complain more. I have my husband here with me as well, and you expect the two of us to share one small room together the whole time?
What? You brought your husband along with you? Emma, you're telling me that you brought your husband, Ricky, back home to Mom and Dad's with you?
Oh, that's right. Without me around, Ricky would have a very hard time. He told me he'd get so lonely back home and wanted me to bring him along for the time I'm here. And that's why he's here with me.
That right there is a totally different situation for everyone then. Why did you even come back to Mom and Dad's if you planned to bring him with you?
Well, he happens to be very busy with work. So while he's gone during the daytime, who would take care of me? And when it comes to Ricky, he sucks at doing the chores. So that's why we've both come back to Mom and Dad's place. That way, we both can be cared for by Mom and Dad for the next month or two while we lay back and relax.
You and your husband, you both better not be under the assumption that you could make both Dad and Mom your housemaids.
Well, to me, both Mom and Dad are like my housemaids, and I'm going to use them as such. Ever since I was a little baby, they'd always spoil me and do anything I'd ask from them. Those two love taking care of me, so I'll let them do it again for another few months.
Are you sure?
But the fact that I just came back home and my room was taken over by you is unacceptable. So I want you to go home, grab all your things, and leave.
Asking me to do all of that right away is difficult for me. If you want something like that to happen, you needed to talk to me weeks in advance so I could prepare.
Shut the hell up, you single middle-aged loser! This is not even your house! So tell me why I have to talk with you about anything before I do it here?
Did you just call me a single middle-aged loser?
I sure did. All you are is a shut-in old freak. You are way too old now to not have yourself a husband. And now you want to live at Mom and Dad's for the rest of your life leeching off them. You are what the world likes to call a freeloading loser.
Hold up. I'm working a full-time job right now, so I'm not some shut-in. I also happen to pay for my right to still live in this house, so stop calling me a freeloader.
Hey, Edith. Normally people your age have started to live on their own and no longer need their mommy and daddy's help anymore. They end up getting married by your age and are out of the house into a place of their own. But since you haven't done any of that, you've stuck around and leeched off both Mom and Dad. It doesn't matter if you're working or not. You have not started to live on your own yet, and that makes you a shut-in. And a loser. You are an embarrassment to this family, and a single, no-good, middle-aged loser.
Excuse me?
The fact that you are still sitting in this house with both Mom and Dad means you have caused them more than enough problems. A freeloading shut-in like you needs to go. Both Mom and Dad want me home with them so that they can care for all my needs. There is no home for you anymore here. Huh? I'm asking you to please leave my house. Both myself and your dad do not even want to see your face anymore. You having the balls to force your way into our home after we told you no. Why are you such an awful daughter? Oh, wait a second, wait. Is this you, Mom? It is me. Today, Edith happens to have the day off work. So the three of us have been taking the day to go out and have some food and relax. And to think while we've been out enjoying ourselves, you and your husband would break and enter into our home. Break and enter. Why are you calling it that? Your cute daughter and her husband are giving you both the gift of having me home again. You want me to be home with you both in order to have my baby here, right? You had to cry and tell me no to that because of Edith, right? To us, you are no longer our cute daughter. You have already gone and burned through a lot of your own parents' savings without ever telling us. Your dad and I actually hate you a lot now. Just because we told you no does not give you the right to start blaming Edith for it. Huh? Why are you so surprised about this? You and that man of yours both went ahead and started to use up your dad's and my savings, right? I thought you would have been happy to see the two of us give you that wonderful wedding. But then after that, I seen you going through our account pulling money from it. After your wedding, both your dad and I went to the bank and took a good look through everything to see you and your husband using it all up. I guess I can see why you're shocked by all this, because not once did you ever tell your dad and I anything about how you used up our savings. Huh? Oh, wait a moment, Mom. I went ahead and apologized to you for all of that. You apologize? Was your apology that crappy little $10 present you got for us when you went on both of yours' honeymoon? And along with it, there was this note that said, sorry, and then LOL on it? You thought that crap was a good enough apology for what you did? Ever since you were a little baby, your dad and I have loved you and cared for you so much. And because you were always our favorite child, we wanted to give you a good wedding.
We went ahead and gave you $30,000 to help out with paying for it and everything. But that wasn't enough from the both of us. Because both you and your husband went ahead and started to take more of our money without asking.
Well, no matter how you think of it, at the time we had needed more money for things. I wanted to give you both the best wedding I could because I love you guys a lot, and so that's why I went ahead and spent a little more. My husband and I at the time didn't have a lot of money, right? And with that $30,000 you gave us, I couldn't make the wedding the best it could be. That's why I went ahead and took a little more from you.
You think you only took a little from me? You went and took another $80,000 from the two of us.
But both you and Dad said it yourselves. You said you were both looking forward to your cute daughter's wedding. So I wanted to give a very high-end and shiny wedding for everyone. That's why I just started to spend your money without really checking how much things were, to make it that beautiful. That was my way of being a good daughter to you both.
I have had enough of your freaking crap, you no-good, stupid little waste of our time. When both your dad and I took a look at how much you both took from us, our eyes were opened wide up. We happened to spoil you way too much, and because of that, we created the most ungrateful brat on this planet.
What do you mean ungrateful? You both were the ones that showed me so much of your love, right? Why are you giving me the cold shoulder now?
From now on, your dad and I are going to make things right. I want you to forget about your weak parents from before and start to take a good look at your new, strict parents. It might already be too late for us, but we are going to go back to basics with you and try to raise you properly.
But...
Listen, you! Why did you bring along your husband if he can't even do any chores in this house? Are you trying to tell me that he doesn't know how to live on his own? I like that you made fun of Edith for that when the man you married can't even be left alone.
But Mom, in exchange for that, he works really hard at his job.
Well, then, for us to allow you to stay at our place, we'd like you guys to pay $2,000 a month to us. You should be able to do that, right? He works so hard at his job, after all. Your dad and I will do the chores for you guys and take great care of you both. As long as we get a cut of that hard-earned money. You can do that for us, right?
You want $2,000? We have no way of paying you both that much.
But your sister is able to do it in order to live here, and she doesn't even need me to do her chores. That's the reason we're letting her live with us.
You're telling me Edith is able to pay that kind of money to stay with you guys?
She is actually really busy with her job all the time, but she still has the ability to do her own chores and cook for herself. However, I've been more than happy to help her out since she has a lot of work on her plate already. So in return for me doing some chores and a little bit of cooking for her, she now pays $2,000 a month to us. So, if you both really want to be living back in our house for the next few months that badly, then you can pay the same amount she is.
But that's...
But that's what? Tell me what you're going to complain about now, you ungrateful witch. Did you know that back when you had your wedding and got married, Edith left our house? She was gone for only a month when we asked her to come back and help us because you had used up all our money. She told us she was fine with that because she worried about the two of us. For a few months, she even paid us double what she pays now to try and get us some more money into our savings again.
What?
Throughout all her past, she had to watch as your dad and I only ever loved you. She had no need to care about us and could have said no with every right to do so. We did things to her that any person would hate us for. But your sister happens to have a heart and didn't want us to suffer because of you. She came to our pleas and made sure we were going to be okay. Hearing you want to kick someone like her out of the house like that is something I'm not going to allow.
Then what are we supposed to do? The both of us came all the way over here to live with you guys while I have my baby. Are you seriously going to make us do a 180 and go back home now?
Dang right I am. Go home right now, the both of you. If you both want to come live with us again, then you hand your dad and I that $80,000 you stole from us. Until you've done that, you are never allowed in our house again.
Are you kidding me?
We are on our way home now, so you have until we pull into that driveway to leave. If you don't, we are calling the police and telling them you broke and entered into our home and need to be taken away.
Hey, Edith! I haven't been able to talk with either mom and dad for the past 6 months. I told them that I had my baby and everything, thinking I'd get a response, but they didn't even say congrats or anything.
Even if they haven't spoken to you, they are happy to hear about the baby. They both said they're relieved to see that the baby was healthy.
Huh? Well, then why has neither of them said anything to me? If they are happy about my baby, why aren't they going to come over to my house and bring me presents? I was able to give birth to their cute little grandbaby.
Huh? You want presents for having a baby now?
I do. It's normal to send someone gifts after they've brought another member to the family, right? They gave me $30,000 for my wedding a year and a half ago. So for a cute little grandbaby, they should give us at least $50,000, right?
Not anymore. You're not getting a penny from those two ever again, actually. Did you forget that you and your crappy husband both used Dad and Mom's savings without asking? Dad told me that a portion of that can be considered your gift then for the baby.
What? But that's not good enough for me. Without any kind of money from them, how are we going to raise the baby?
Wait, what? Aren't you both supposed to raise and care for the baby? You have the income from Ricky, right?
When it comes to his income, he's only making around $1,500 a month, actually. There's no way we can raise a kid with that kind of money.
Ricky's only making that much? He's allowed you to be a housewife and everything with that kind of income? I assumed because of that he was making at least 3 times that amount.
We are only 25 years old right now. We have no way of making that kind of money at our age. Also, Ricky has a habit of changing jobs a lot, so he never is able to get any sort of raise.
Is that so?
That's why we've been hoping for some more money from Mom and Dad. We really do feel sorry for using up some of their savings during our wedding, but come on now. It's not like Mom and Dad haven't forgiven me already for that, right? And I thought that by having this grandbaby for them, I'd be able to get back on their good sides again. To hear that they won't give me any money.
My God, Emma. Was this the whole reason you planned on having a child in the first place?
But in the past, Mom and Dad always spoiled me with everything I wanted, right? They love caring for me all the time, and I thought they'd want to spoil me forever, and I thought that also meant they'd want to spoil both my baby and my husband as well.
Seriously?
But to hear they won't give me any money this time is not going to go over well with us. Please go tell Mom and Dad that I want to apologize again for using their savings. I've tried to apologize already over text, but they never reply to me. So please help be the middleman for us here.
Well, if you want, I can tell them since they're sitting right next to me. They're saying that you're in debt to them for $80,000, and they'll never forgive you until it's all paid back to them.
What?
You really thought that you could get Mom and Dad to start spoiling you again by having that baby? I'm sorry, but both Dad and Mom no longer care about you and would rather you learn to take care of yourself now.
But ever since I was a baby, they have loved me so much, and they always told me I was so cute and everything to them. And I wanted them to never get mad at me about anything, no matter what.
Well, it's time for you to become aware that your parents have changed now and are no longer going to let you take advantage of them like that. Now, I've had enough of this. I have to go on a business trip today.
Well, wait a second. Then at the very least, can you give us a gift? You have a cute little niece now. I'll even let you see her soon as long as you give me some money as a gift. You're already putting in $2,000 a month to live with Mom and Dad, so you can afford to give us $20,000, right?
What are you going on about now? You already told me that I'm never allowed to see your kids, right? And since I can't see them ever, why should I give you any gift?
Huh?
Now you and your husband get a grip and learn how to raise your daughter. Emma and her husband didn't even end up getting any gifts from their friends in the end for their new baby. Apparently, because of that really amazing wedding she gave everyone, she expected them all to give her lots of presents and money for it. They followed through with it, but because of that, a lot of them cut ties to Emma without ever telling her. So she didn't even know her friends all left her a year or so ago. Also, since she was a housewife before the baby, She had to quit that job and start looking for a job to make her baby more money. While Emma was doing all that, my parents thought they'd take one trip over to her place to check on how things were going. But when they arrived, she started crying for them to give her money. But instead of just leaving her there to struggle with her useless husband and newborn, they chose to stick closer by to them and make sure that at least the baby was taken care of. And my parents were only doing this because they felt responsible for raising their granddaughter's mother to become a spoiled monster, and didn't want the baby exposed to that.